Welcome back to I'm back on my bullshit and ready to ramble about something that probably nobody cares about, but I think is very, very, very important. I love helping people get better at the game, but there's always one thing that I see that differentiates someone that is brand new at raiding or is getting into raiding and makes them stand apart from people who are experienced and live in the end game. And that is simply how they adapt and react to change and input, how well they listen to everyone else, and whether or not they consider themselves as part of a team or they think of themselves as a one-man army. Now, obviously, a lot of this is like, oh, but that's, you know, that makes sense. So that's basic bullshit. Well, that is, but a lot of people just don't do it. You don't know. I do a lot of helps. I do a lot of teaching. I do a lot of carries, and you don't know how many people I run into that are very low in clears, that are obviously still getting into the end game, haven't had as much experience as myself or some of my friends do, and they go, oh, well, this works out for me. Oh, this is working out for me. Oh, this is fine. Oh, I have no issues. I have no problems. And they contribute nothing. The thing is, in the end game, it's not about you anymore. And that is something that I feel a lot of gamers have a very hard time dealing with and understanding. Is that it is not about you in the end game, it is how well you can complement your team to get the job done. Do you provide enough support? Do you provide for your job in the team? Do you help accomplish the mechanics right? Whenever you leave an area that you're performing a mechanic in, do you leave it in proper shape for whoever is coming in behind you? Let's take totems in King's Fall, for example. I'm going to use two sides, both sides, left and right, to prove a point. And I want you to tell me at the end of it, which one did their job properly. Left side has just killed their knight and is heading over to the Annihilation Totem, and it is completely swarmed with ads. And the player is just sitting there surviving, absolutely nothing is going on with them. But their plate is overrun, and they leave you to deal with the aftermath. Right side is getting their night done. They are heading over to the Annihilation plate. The ads are under control. The ads have been taken care of. Your teammate is communicating with you, properly lets you know when to grab, and then dips as long as they know that you have the plate ready. Sounds fairly obvious, right? Well, that also goes back to a point I made a long time ago in one of my videos where I say that a lot of people get into a raid and they just want to go. They don't think about how to create good team camaraderie, cohesion, how to make things effective. They just want to brute force everything and get to the end. As long as they survive, that is it. I'm going to say something right here. I would rather someone die to keep the mechanic going rather than someone live but the mechanic fail. Because here's the deal. We would die anyways if the mechanic fails. I don't care personally that your build is working for you. If you are leaving an area worse than it was handed to you, you are doing something wrong. If what you are doing could cause someone to have a more serious issue, then you are doing your job wrong. Your job in a raid is to communicate with your teammates. Your job in a Grandmaster is to communicate with your teammates, to complement each other to get a job done. For example, I'm going to mention something, and for experienced raiders, it's going to fill you with emotion. King's Fall, but there isn't a single warlock. See what I mean? That's a team that's going to struggle. If they're experienced enough, they'll make it through. That's a team that doesn't complement each other at all. Doesn't have right balance. The number one mistake I feel every new beginner raider and begin to mid raider, I should say rather, is that they do not think about the team at large, and they are resistant to incoming feedback. If your first response or thought whenever someone gives you feedback is that I know what I'm doing, I'm fine, that you are entirely in the wrong. Now, for experienced raiders, like there's going to be times where someone will be explaining something to someone that already knows what they're doing, and they go like, dude, I know what I'm doing. But this is for people that have like 100+ clears of a specific raid. Like if you have 100 plus clears of a raid, you know what you are doing. It is certified that you know what you are doing. That's whenever I feel like, oh, okay, that's whenever that attitude is appropriate, because you do know what you are doing. You can be respectful about it and be like, hey, I'm willing. Even then, like for people that are 100+ clears, they are open to feedback and be like, hey, you want to try something? I'm down. But the instant that you are resistant to any kind of feedback that comes in, I don't care who it is, the instant you shut someone out after you have feedback given to you, whether it's good feedback or bad feedback, that is when you need an attitude change. That is whenever you need to seriously think about whether potentially you are the problem in the raid group. You are what is holding your team back. And I'm going to be brutal. I'm going to be honest about it. People that get kicked from fire teams probably have this issue. They are resistant to feedback. They do not want to listen. They think that they know it all. They think that they have everything. I've watched a video on this. I know what I'm doing. Those are all the wrong attitude to have. You are never going to know everything in a raid, and having that thrown at people who have the experience and are always evolving, always learning, always soaking in new ways to bake bosses, always figuring out new combinations, that is a slap in the face. Because we know that you don't know. We know. It is very obvious. And I'm tired of taking that attitude from people personally, because I am always open to learn. I know what I'm doing. I have my preferred ways to get everything done. I have combinations that to this day I am still experimenting with, and I am having fun with learning new ways to bake bosses, because there's something new that comes up every day. Something new every day. There are different combinations that you can use to absolutely annihilate everything in sight. And the instant I personally see someone that goes, oh, I know what I'm doing, I have this, is a slap in the face to me and all the work that I put into this game, into anything. There are people that I will absolutely listen to. People that I know are better. I am absolutely 100% able and ready to learn, because I think that is the personality and the attitude that you should have towards raiding, towards endgame content. There is always something new to learn, always some new tech to experiment with, to play with, to test. And some people think they're better than the rest of us because they watched a video. I don't know when this started becoming more of a rant than anything, but I mean, there is truth in it. People need to learn to listen and to see the bigger picture. It is not just you in a raid. You have 5 other people with you. You have your raid leader, or maybe you are the raid leader. Maybe you have 5 other people you need to guide. Maybe someone has experimented with something that might improve your chances as a group. Maybe the strat that you have won't work for the rest of the people. You need to think about everyone else, because it's not just you. If you want it to be you, go solo the dungeon. Go solo a raid encounter. Go solo the Grandmaster. Go do solo content, because you're going to get far more joy out of that than you will in a raid, because a raid is about 6 people, not 1. Anyways, that's all I have on the topic. And again, just want to reiterate that this is something that I want to use to inspire conversation. These are rambles. I want to use these to inspire conversation, to get the ball rolling while I get to push out my personal opinions on certain things in the game. I want to see what you have to say. Do you think I'm just a spoiled child for I don't know. Do you think I'm elitist? Do you think that I am right in anything that I am saying? Please go ahead. Let me know in the comments. Leave a dislike if you think I'm wrong. Leave a like if you think I'm right. I want to inspire conversation. Let me know what you all think, and I will see you all the next time I decide to ramble my head off and go back on my bullshit. Thank you very much for your time. I hope you all have an amazing day.